Alright, baseball fans, the season ends in 3 weeks, so I figured do the video at least every Monday or Tuesday rather than every day. I mean, baseball scores every day. I believe more dramatic things happen in a week rather than one day, unless something really, really, really dramatic. So, in the American League, Boston still has the number one seed, but Oakland has fought back and taken the league in the American League West, and also the number two spot in the standings. They've bumped Detroit down to 3. So, wow, Oakland's really fighting back. So, Texas now has the number one wild card spot. They're not that far back off Oakland, and the Rays have the second wild card spot. Yeah, they went 3-7 on the 10-game road trip, but they won the games when I guess teams that were chasing them lost. So, hopefully they can stick in there. But Cleveland and Baltimore's on their tail. They have 21 games left, and Baltimore and Cleveland are a game and a half back. The Yankees are 3, and the Royals are 4. So anything can happen. So for the American League, if Boston keeps winning, I think they'll have the number one spot. I mean, the Rays, yeah, they're a little bit back, and I don't know if they can catch them or not. I mean, Boston, they're starting to really pull it together now, and so I think the Rays will just have to keep fighting for that second wild card spot. Oakland and Texas, they'll be going back and forth still. I mean, that's a close race, and that will come down to the last game, who wins the division and who will get the wild card spot. Now, Detroit, they can have a little bit of a race too, because Cleveland isn't that far back either. Yeah, they're a game and a half behind the Rays, but I mean, you never know. Detroit can have a slump, and Cleveland could have a streak going, and Cleveland could all of a sudden take the lead into the division and bump Detroit down to the wild card spots, or even out of playoff contention. So it all depends on how they are playing with this final stretch. And same thing with the Rays. They have a tough schedule. They have a tough schedule for the last 3 weeks. So if they keep winning, they can still keep that wild card spot. I mean, it's close. They can maybe move up to the first wild card spot and have that home field advantage when it comes to that one wild card game playoff. Or if they drop down a second, they'll have to go on the road. Most likely it'll be Texas or Oakland. It's going to be probably one of those two teams. Or if Boston has a slump and the Rays have a streak, they could win the division within the last few games and not have to worry about that one-game wild card playoffs. Now, enough with the American League. On to the National League. Atlanta still has that number one spot, but the Dodgers they've kind of sticked on to Atlanta, so they're still 2 games back, but anything can happen. But the way Atlanta's playing, it seems they could be number one, but you never know. They could lose 3 straight, and the Dodgers could win 3 straight, so the Dodgers could take that lead, but anything can happen. Now, first, I mean, congratulations to the Pirates. They clinched a winning season for the first time in 20 years. Last winning season was 1992. I wasn't even born then. I was born in 93. Now, despite that, the Cardinals have regained the lead in the Central. But it is still a close race. Pittsburgh is 1 game back, and they have that first wild card spot. And Cincinnati is 2 games back off of St. Louis and 1 game back on Pittsburgh. So that is really a 3-team race. First and third are only separated by 2 games. That is going to be a very, very exciting. It's going to be a very exciting race, because who knows? Cincy can climb to the top of the division, or they can take that wild card spot and knock Pittsburgh down, or Pittsburgh can take the wild card spot to St. Louis, and Cincinnati can knock St. Louis down to second. I mean, there could be so many alternations within the next 3 weeks. I mean, you never know what could happen. So anything can happen in baseball. Anything can happen. You have 162 games. Right now, I believe there are 21 left. So anything can happen. And I believe that's all for now. So rate, comment, subscribe, and please like. No dislikes, please. So I will see you guys again for baseball next Tuesday or Monday, depending how busy I am. So baseball fans, for me, go Rays. Hopefully they keep winning and they can secure that final wild card spot or take the leading division in the American League East.